Hi there, this is Bonnie McCaffery and I'm talking to you from Hawley, Pennsylvania, and this is my very first video podcast. And what I'd like to do with the video podcast is do some demonstrations of the techniques that I use. So in today's demonstration, what I'm going to do is show you how to use some tinsel, but in the future we'll be looking at some kaleidoscope piecing, we'll be looking at some fantasy fabric techniques, some painted face techniques, and lots more, maybe even doing some digibobbing. Now what I'd like to demonstrate for you today is using some of this beautiful tinsel here. And you're probably wondering what exactly tinsel is. Tinsel's similar to Christmas tree tinsel, but it's finer and it comes in a lot of beautiful colors. And this is really just a sampling of some of the colors that it's available in. This little pack here, this is a snack pack of just 14 beautiful, yummy colors, not a calorie in them. And we also have the Ultimate Gourmet snack pack, which includes all of the colors that are available in the tinsel. Now I want to show you some of the ways we can use this. The most common way that I use it is that I put it on a background fabric. So I have my background fabric, and that would be layered on a layer of firm tearaway stabilizer. And then I would add some of this tinsel, and a little goes a long way, let me tell you. I know there's ladies that think one of these little tiny packages is enough for a 9-inch square. I think that's too much. So I lay my tinsel on that background fabric. And then the next thing I do is that I would cover it with a layer of tulle and then pin the layers together in order to hold everything in place. Take it to my sewing machine and then stitch the layers together using YLI's Wonder Invisible thread, which is an invisible thread, and the purpose of that stitching is only to hold the layers together. Now this quilt back here shows you some tinsel captured underneath of a layer of burgundy tulle. There are actually 4 different colors of tinsel captured underneath of that layer of tulle. And let me show you another quilt that has some of the tinsel in it. This quilt over here is done with the tinsel captured between 2 layers of tulle, and then the machine embroidery has stitched out that butterfly design, and then the butterflies are cut out and they're added on top of the quilt. This one over here is done by my oldest daughter, Heather, and you see that little fairy holding that star in her hand, and that star is just glowing, and the tinsel really gives the glow to that little fairy there. Now I'm going to show you some really neat things that you can do with the tinsel as far as melting it. You know the Angelina fiber, how that will melt? Well, the tinsel, only 4 of the colors of tinsel, the iridescent colors, and these are the ones that look like they are white. The iridescent ones will melt with heat. So what I'm going to do is I have a piece of paper, and I'm going to pull out some of the tinsel and put that on the paper there. And then I'm going to fold the paper back over top of it. So now I have a piece of paper over and under the tinsel so that it's protecting the iron and the ironing surface. And I'm ironing it with a medium temperature iron, and ooh, look at that. We get a piece that now can be stitched down onto the quilt, or you can cut it out, and I'm going to show you some other neat things that you can do with it. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to place this in so that's in the crease of the paper there, and fold that over and iron it, and then turn it. I've picked it up and I've given it a 1/4 turn, so again now I have one of the other rough edges held into that fold there. And again, I'm doing the same thing. Each time I'm just giving it a 1/4 turn. There we go. One last iron, and you know what we have now? We have this neat little rectangle. So that if you wanted to make something that was a square or a rectangle, you just keep turning and folding so that you get a nice, clean, finished edge on that piece of rectangle there. Now, let's take a look at some of the other neat things we can do. Again, I'm going to take some more of the iridescent tinsel, the ones that will melt there, and I'm going to lay that down. Now, let's say I have all of these beautiful colors here, and I really want to use those beautiful colors. The way that you can do it is by first putting a layer of the iridescent tulle down, and then I'm going to put some of the color down, and I could put more than one color in there if I wanted. So I got a couple colors there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put another layer of the iridescent, the one that will melt. I'm going to put that again on top of that. And now again, I'm going to fold that and iron that. And you might want to do it from the other side because it's a little bit thicker now. And there we have some of the different colors of tinsel captured underneath of those couple layers of the iridescent tinsel. This is not the only thing that you can capture underneath of the tinsel. So again, I'm going to take a little bit of that tinsel as a base layer and lay that down. And now I have these beautiful sparkly metallic stars. And I'm going to lay some of those out on there. And you want to be careful that you have only single stars there. Lay a couple of stars out on top of there. Another thing that we can add on there, we can add some metallic threads or any kind of threads that you want. So we have those laid on top of there. And we need that layer of tinsel on top, the iridescent one, the one that's going to melt. So we lay that on top, and again we're going to fold that and we're going to press that with a medium temperature iron. Do it on the other side. Ooh, look at this one! And here we have a piece of the tinsel that has some metallic stars captured in it. And this could also look very nice put into a card. That would be the perfect gift for one of your friends. Let me show you another fun thing we can do with this. I'm just going to make a piece of this melted tinsel. And I think we'll put a little bit of green in there, and we'll put a little bit of the iridescent tinsel on top because it has to be captured between the two layers. And I make this sheet here. And I think we'll give it a little heat from the other side there. Okay, so here I have my piece of tinsel. Well, the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to fold that in half. And I'm going to take scissors and cut that. Wait till you see. And there I have a beautiful butterfly that you could capture on top of your quilt, or you could put it underneath of the layer of tulle, or you could stitch it down. This is fun stuff, and I think you're going to have a good time with it. Now, what if you wanted to make this melted tinsel fusible? What I'm using here today, this is Misty White Fuse. This is a product by Estherita Austin, and you can find that on her website. And what I've done here, I have this Teflon sheet down, and I have a piece of the Misty Fuse down here, and I think I'm going to make some layered bit here. And I have, going to put some of the iridescent down, and then we're going to put a little bit of this green down, and I think I'll add a little tiny bit of the blue. And now again, that layer of the iridescent on top, because remember we have to have these melt together between the layers. And I'm going to take this Teflon sheet and fold it back over top and give it a little iron, and we'll see what happens. Ooh, looking good. Be careful because that Teflon sheet's a little bit hot. But there we have a nice piece that we can cut out a shape, and we can then fuse that into place. So with this fun tinsel stuff, whether you just melt it, or you capture some threads in between the layers, or some metallic stars, or maybe some other colors of tinsel, maybe you want to fold it into a little square or cut it into a butterfly, I hope you're inspired to go and experiment with this. And remember that the iridescent ones, the 4 ones that are white, will melt. Those are the only ones that will melt. And the other colors you could capture in between 2 layers of the meltable. I hope you've enjoyed today's demonstration, and come back and see me again next month where we'll be doing another demonstration on another technique that I do. Thanks for joining me.